It was a rarity. Game day was in Nashville to see the Vanderbilt Commodores, who beat Missouri, play in a really big matchup. And five-star Georgia commit Jared Curtis from Nashville Christian went down to watch all the festivities. And Matt DeBerry, there was a lot of nervousness, perhaps perhaps justified, that Jared Curtis was really looking into Vanderbilt pretty hard, which I think he was. Tell us about Mike Bobo going up there Friday, and then I'll fill everybody in on everything that went from there.
Yeah, I mean, the news came down. He was making the short trip down to Vanderbilt. Of course, the kid's from Nashville, game days in town. Totally get why he would want to go down there and check it out, especially because Vanderbilt's saying, hey, we're going to do everything we can to keep this special quarterback from leaving Nashville. He can come play right down the street. We're a top 10 program now, but at the end of the day, it's just not reality. This kid is going to be in Athens in December when it's time to make a final decision, but I think he's already made it. We spoke with people close to him and his family when we went to watch him play in person, his first game of the season, Ryan, and I think he had a nice time. I think he's got some teammates who are also on Vanderbilt's radar. That running back is really good, but if you're Mike Bobo and you're seeing your star quarterback, take a visit, I totally get why he'd go up to Nashville and say, "Hey, just making sure we're all good here, right? We need you. We're 2 months away from getting you on campus." But I think the family, they've been high on Mike Bobo and Kirby Smart in this Georgia program for a long, long time. He's not going anywhere. I hope he had a good time down at for the game and at game day, Ryan. But this kid's going to be a Bulldog, and that is a big, big deal. Georgia fans are going to absolutely love this kid.
I think it's one of those situations where he's taken advantage of what he can do during this process. And you can't really blame him for that, for taking that visit, even if he is committed to Georgia. If he's got teammates that are getting looked at by Vanderbilt, it's right down the road. It's an opportunity for him to go check out another spot, deal with game day, and just be a part of all that. If I was in that situation, I'd probably be doing the same thing, just taking advantage of every opportunity that I have where, hey, look, this is free access to this, and it's a fun weekend, and you're there to support your teammates. But I think he said after the game or after this weekend that he's 100% committed to Georgia. I saw that somewhere online where there was a quote from him there. So look, in this process now, you do have to be a little bit more concerned about people flipping and changing their mind, and we've seen it happen to Georgia specifically a handful of times recently. But it seems like he's locked in on the Dogs.
Here's what he said to On Three. He said, "I was just there for college game day. First time college game day has been to Nashville in a while. I think it's been 20 years, by the way. I could be slightly off with that, but he said Jared goes on to say to On Three, just there to visit and watch the game. At the end of the day, I'm still a Bulldog. And the three of us were up there earlier this year. I don't think that. I mean, I'm not sure I've seen a better quarterback prospect in my time covering. I saw Aaron live. I remember watching Matthew the first time I saw him, and just other people. Trevor. Uh, there's been a lot of Justin Fields, Trevor. Uh, oh my gosh, in Seattle when I went up there to see him play. Help me out, Matt.
Eason.
Yeah, Jacob
Jake.
Eason. I can't believe I forgot Jacob Eason's name briefly there. Jake Fromm. A lot of different guys. I did not see Stetson early in his life, but I certainly saw Gunner plenty. Jared Kurz is a different beast. I just have never seen something like that. Now, it doesn't mean he's going to be successful, but the template is there for him to do just that. I do want to say that you got a great template in Sales Hatch. They're going to do a lot of the stuff for you that is very difficult for business owners to do. If you want to talk with someone who can really help you out meeting the right people, it's Sales Hatch. And let them open the door for you, get you in front of the right people so you can close the deal. One thing that happened that night in Nashville, man, he closed the deal on, I can't remember who they were playing, Nashville Christian, Davidson Academy, excuse me. Their athletic director was great to us. It was exceptional football, I thought. Go ahead, Ryan. I mean, I've seen a lot of guys play. I thought it was very good. I mean, I don't want to overdo it, but physically and just playing, there just wasn't, beyond that one just absolutely boneheaded play, he was about as good a prospect as I've seen play.
You saw a little bit of everything, right?
Yep.
You could the throwing on the run, just the zip across the field, throwing across body, the physicality while running, not super fast, but he did show some elusiveness, was juking guys out, trucking people. So you saw a little bit of everything. I think talent-wise, you're not concerned about that at the next level. He can pretty much make whatever throw you need. I think that throw in the corner of the end zone, if you guys recall the one I'm talking about, that was on a rope. If you're going against SEC defensive backs, maybe that gets tipped, maybe that gets intercepted, but for the circumstances, it was very impressive. And now we're seeing on Twitter every week on a weekly basis, Jared Curtis highlights, 4 touchdowns, 6 touchdowns. So it's been consistent. It wasn't just that one game when we were up there, but he can do pretty much anything that you need him to do. The real, I think, question and concerns you'd have for him at the next level is, can he run a more complicated offense? Can he play within the system you want? And he had some similarities to Caleb Williams where he wants to play hero ball. And you can see, look, that can get you a Heisman, that can get you that. But then you see at that next level can get you interceptions and everything. So I mean, out of all the guys I've seen, I haven't seen as many as y'all. He was definitely the most talented. The list of concerns is very few compared to the lists of pros when you're looking at them.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of quarterbacks that have gone on to play at the NFL level, and the ball just zips out of his hand just a little bit different. And Ryan was talking about that first touchdown pass. That was a laser. Ryan, called it a rope, a laser, a rocket, whatever you want to call it. But you knew right then that, oh, okay, this guy is different. And he is a big kid. He's got, some baby fat still like around his face. His kid's still young. He's big and he's only going to get stronger and probably lean out a little bit while adding more muscle mass when he gets to Georgia. But like you both said, the physical tools are there. He can sling it. And what Ryan said is correct. Now it's about just learning the offense, learning the speed at which they play. And we've obviously seen five-star quarterbacks play at the private school level with all the tools. And it's just, you still have to have it mentally and be able to play fast and be accurate. Yeah, that's something that I don't know if you can teach it a little bit, but in a way, you're either accurate or you're not. That has to kind of be a natural part of the way you throw the football. And he's got that. But when you have a guy with that big of an arm, every once in a while, he's going to test it and he's going to throw with confidence and try to fit a ball into a window that's not there. So there will be some growing pains. He's not going to be expected to play early in Athens. So I think if you're Mike Bobo, you've got this big, physical kid who can sling the ball all over the place, and you can get him to learn. It's about him learning the offense and learning how to play quarterback. Dean, that's something you talk about all the time. But watching him play in person, it's something that I know I will never forget. That one time I saw him play in Nashville, and I don't think anyone on this video is going to forget that either.
Well, and it's not about where he's at right now. It's about where will he be in 3 years? Because if he's still at where he's at right now in 3 years, that's probably not going to be good enough. I mean, to be honest, how many guys, Arch, Lagway, the guy at South Carolina, the guy at Clemson, Klubnik, oh my gosh, the kid from Florence, what's his name? The South Carolina quarterback?
Lenore Sellers.
Yeah, Sellers. I mean, there's no shortage of really good quarterbacks this season who just, but physically, I mean, he's a lot more like Cam Newton and Josh Allen than anyone that I've seen in person. He's got a little bit of Johnny Manziel in there with him. I think he knows how to play the position, but it really only is about, from this point forward, we're talking about playing quarterback. We're not talking about being, a right guard or a right tackle. Like Georgia's got 2 freshmen at right tackle and right guard right now. Well, those 2 guys aren't being asked to call out protections or confirm protections or play, point out the linebacker or which safety could be coming. They're asked to do their particular thing. Jared's got to get them in and out of the huddle. He's got to beat out whoever's in Athens. He's got to get them in and out of the huddle. He's got to have a complete understanding of all of the intricacies of the offense. He's got to not freak out. He's got to be accurate. I do think by the time you're 16, 17 years old, you should be accurate. And if you're not, I don't know if you can correct that. Now, maybe someone else can say, I don't know. I mean, in my sportsdom, people didn't just become more accurate. You could work on what you had, but I think by that point, 16, 17, 18 years old, it is hard to become more accurate. But I readily admit I could be wrong about that. But I don't think there's really a challenge with it. I mean, I think one thing too, I'll throw it to both of y'all from here on out. Matt, don't you think that people have to take every late recruiting visit seriously? I mean, particularly with a school like Vanderbilt where they can bring a dump truck of money and plop it down right at the end. I think it has to be that it was going to be too difficult for Vanderbilt to overcome, but at the same time, it wasn't a nothing thing. I mean, Vanderbilt certainly was after him.
Yeah, I mean, are you really 100% committed if you're
Right.
visiting another SEC school? You're on campus, right? You might be 99% committed, but you're not 100 if you're visiting other schools. And yeah, Vanderbilt, they can check the money box, they can check the playing time box,
Well, right
the
now in
right
Nashville too, it could.
location.
Right now in
Yeah,
Nashville, it could not be more exciting to be around
yeah.
Vanderbilt. I mean, they're a top 10 team. They're it's exciting.
This is they're at their peak right now. I don't know if
Probably.
I in my lifetime I've ever seen Vanderbilt, be where they are right now, and they've got the number one quarterback in the country at a high school in their backyard. There's a lot going for them right now, but at the end of the day, if you're playing, and I'll throw this to Ryan, if you're playing a true freshman, Jared Curtis at quarterback, there's going to be some struggles. There's no doubt about it. Georgia does not want Jared Curtis playing as a freshman. If he has to go play, or if he did, for whatever reason, choose Vanderbilt and he's starting day one, it's not going to look all that pretty.
It's not the same thing as Trevor Lawrence playing as a true freshman at Clemson in 2018, where the infrastructure
He
around
didn't
you
even
is
start the
national
season though. He
championship
didn't even start at the beginning of the
contender.
season, Trevor.
No, no, but he did get in there fairly early, if I remember
Fifth game,
correctly.
he was a starter.
Yeah, something like that. That is the draw, right? You could be the hometown hero and stay in Nashville and be a part of the party while it's at its peak and probably play early as a freshman. But for him, he's got to weigh that decision. Go to Georgia and probably have more time to develop. Like Matt said earlier, he's likely not going to be expected to play early. If he does end up playing early at Georgia, it's because a couple of things probably went wrong, or he's just ready. And he is the most talented quarterback on that roster, but there's still Gunnar, Stockton, Ryan Puglisi, some other guys in the pipeline that they'll have to sort out where everybody's at with that. And if everyone's going to stay, if people are going to transfer, you don't really know at this point on a semester to semester basis with all of that. But there's certainly draw to stay home and be a part of that. But at the end of the day, uh, I think this is probably just him taking that opportunity to be a part of this past weekend, which I would say, and it looked like it just watching game day was a pretty special weekend for Vanderbilt and having that exposure and they're on a good run and playoff is still in question for the Commodores this year. That's not out of the question yet.
Not on the question at all. That last game against Tennessee is going to be pivotal one for Vanderbilt this week. Georgia and the Gators. We'll talk about that coming up soon on Dog Post. Thanks for watching.